Hello, my loves, and welcome to another episode of FEMPIRE Builders. Your host here, Michelle Hext. I have snuck into my office on a Sunday. Normally, I do this on a Monday morning, but I've got a big day tomorrow and I want to get ahead of the game. And the house is quiet. Dave's out for the day, so it's a perfect opportunity. All right, today I'm going to be talking about the 10 lessons I'm taking into 2025. 2024 has been a full circle year for me in many ways, and it's also been a year of a lot of internal reflection, a lot of healing, a lot of, I guess, doing away with anything that I felt had started to build up that was no longer serving me. So it's been a year of stripping things back, and it's paying dividends right now because I feel so incredible about my business and in my life and all of those things. So let me talk about the 10 things I'm taking into 2025 that have come from 2024 in no particular order. Okay, so the first thing that I want to take into 2025 is more visibility. And the reason for that is I didn't do a lot of content creation in 2024. I didn't do a lot in 2023 either. I just really stepped back from it. And one, I guess what I want to say about that is revenue definitely dipped a little bit, but it could have also been to do with many other things. But I do think that my lack of showing up for my audience has had an impact on the bottom line, just because when we're front of mind, when people are seeing us regularly, we stay front of mind, right? In the world that we're in, it's so fast paced. It's the feeds move so quickly, and we can very easily be forgotten because people are always emerging online, right? It's very easy to to become distracted by the next thing. So for me, I feel like I'm coming out of a bit of a content hibernation, and I'm really ready to dive back into being more visible. And I know that that will definitely impact my bottom line, but more than anything else, it helps me to feel so much more connected to my business and my audience. And I've really been feeling that disconnection over the past, not so much the last month because I have dived back in, but prior to that, I was feeling quite disconnected. And yeah, I'm going to talk more about visibility and visibility strategies and things in future podcasts. So I will just leave it now there for now, but definitely more visibility activity in 2025. Another thing, or the next thing, is passion and purpose, for me at least, have to be front and center. If I'm not feeling passionate about my content and my business and my clients and the things that I'm doing, and I don't feel purposeful, if I'm not waking up in the morning knowing that, exactly what project I'm working on and what I want to do and how I want to tackle it, then things just don't feel right. I feel like I'm going through the motions, and I'm not the sort of person that can just go through the motions. I need purpose and I need passion in everything that I do. It's pretty much my hallmark. I've been passionate about everything that I've done. And if that starts to wane, I know that the one thing that is holding me back from feeling passionate and purposeful is clarity. So I just have to figure out, where am I lacking clarity? If I don't know what to say, if I don't know what I want to talk about when I show up, that tells me that I'm lacking clarity. And so I just have to go and work on that. So I've found that formula that works for me now. If I'm not feeling passionate and purposeful, it means I'm lacking clarity, and I've got to go back and figure out why I'm lacking clarity, get that clarity, and then it's like the gates open and everything starts to flow again. 2024 was a big year of healing for me. So the next thing that I want to take into 2025 is, the healing stuff that I went on, the journey that I went on this year to heal childhood wounds. This is work that I've been doing for a long time, but there were just some big things that I wasn't willing to tackle around my relationship with my mom and a few things like that. And I just decided a few months ago that, you know what, I'm going to I'm going to tackle this. I'm going to face it head on and let's just see what happens. And I feel really good. And the impact that that's had on my business and on my working habits in 2024 have been, I've realized that a lot of the way that I work, the amount of hours that I was putting in and a little bit of reactivity and creating, problems so that I could solve them to give me something to do, I came to see that a lot of the way that I was working was, in fact, a trauma response. And I just made the decision that I don't want to operate like that. I don't want to operate from a place of trauma. And so that is not to say that I'll never hustle again. I'll never do weeks where I just do a lot of hours because I'm lit up and I'm excited. That's just part of who I am. But it's coming from a different place now. So the healing and understanding my trauma response and business has mean I really needed to redefine my relationship with my business. And it feels very different and it feels lighter. It just feels it just feels really, really good. And so the impact is that I work a lot less hours. It's come down to simplification and knowing what moves the needle on a lot of automations and simplifying my business model as well. Like how do I want people to work with me, and having two products. I have my FEMPIRE Builders membership and I have my S.H.E Mastermind product. And the simplification just gives me a lot of space, right? And even bringing the hours that I was working down because I was overworking to avoid, dealing with my shit. And so, where was I going with that? So, I think for me, what happened when I started to simplify and when I started to reduce my hours was to realize that okay, so there's got to be a void on the other side of overworking. So, what am I going to do with that void? So, I really had to think about how do I want my life going forward? If I'm going to have a lot more time and space in my life, what am I going to use it for? Or do I even need to find ways to use it? Because in the past, I had created time and space freedom in my business, and it it I would tend to implode because I needed the busyness. It kept pulling me back. So I would inevitably go and break something so that I had something to fix so that I could get back in my business again, because having too much time and space on my plate was really uncomfortable. But now that I've gone through and I've healed those childhood wounds, and it really wasn't a big deal. It was just a weekend of deep inner work that I did on my own. I don't have any fear around that time and space anymore. I actually welcome it. And so that is a huge thing that I'm taking with me into 2025, knowing that I'm taking my healing into 2025. I feel, healing's always going to be an ongoing process, right? But I feel fully healed. And I know I might sound naive saying that because I know at different times things will crop up, but I don't feel weighed down by anything right now. And so, yeah, working shorter hours a week, not having so many projects on, I'm actually welcoming that in 2025. And instead of, letting it freak me out. Okay, the next one is be where I want to be. And I think this ties in with the next one, which is long form versus short form content. So I think they really do tie together, but they are two separate things. So I have lots of words, I have lots of opinions. I take a little bit of time to get there some of the time, right? You will never see me do a 6-minute uh, podcast episode because it takes me longer to say things, right? I've got so much experience and wisdom and examples and things like that and antidotes and anecdotes. I can't even say that word, that I want to share with you, that I used to try to hurry through these things, but I know this is where the value is. I can't tell you how many times I've had people come to me and say, "Oh, when you did that live stream and you said this one thing." And the one sentence that I gave them was something that was from probably a tangent that I went off on. And so I'm really satisfied and comfortable right now that I am best creating long form content. Trying to jam everything that I want to say into a 15-second snippet on Instagram just doesn't work for me. And this has just come to me in the last couple of weeks. When I sit down to write, my posts are longer. They're not, if I go to post something if I go to write something that I really want to write from the heart, I have to chop it off to try and put it on Instagram. And it's like this, why am I doing this? I love long form content. My videos are longer, my podcasts are longer, my written posts are longer. I like to write books. That is my sweet spot. Long form is my jam. And so I've decided, just because part of the internet has a short attention span doesn't mean that I have to create for that. I'm not doing that anymore. I'm going to create the content that I want to create, and that just happens to be long form because I am a detail oriented person as well. I want to get all the details in there. And so that leads to the next thing, be where I want to be. So I really thought that I was going to push into Instagram, really leverage Instagram in 2025. And this has made me reassess that. And if I think about the videos that I want to do on Instagram, I know myself, if somebody's created a 20-minute video on Instagram, it doesn't matter how much I love their content and want to watch the video. The app itself is a pain in the ass to try and watch anything long, because you're watching something and you might be halfway through it and a notification comes on and you're distracted and you click on the notification and then you're like, oh shit, now I want to go back to that video, and you can't go back to the same spot. So it doesn't support long form content, and that's what I want to create. So will I be on Instagram? Yeah, probably more on my stories than anything else. But if I'm really going to follow my strengths, which is in long form content, that means that I have to be where long form content is accepted. And that is going to be on my Facebook profile. I'm done with my business page. Like, it'll run my ads and things like that. But my profile is where I've really like to hang out. I have something like 3,500 followers over there. I have 1.3K friends or something like that. And so that is a place that I want to be. And if you go back to my profile, it's open. Feel free to come and follow me or friend me. And if you go and have a look at some of my old videos going back like a few years ago now, that is where we were hanging out. That is where I was doing all of my live streaming. And so it's like, yeah, I'm going to hang out on my profile again. Now, that is a shock to me because I didn't think I would, but I'm going to. And I'm going to keep showing up because I enjoy it. It's fun for me. And eventually people will start to, switch on that, oh, okay, she's back and her live streams are worth listening to. And so I can do long form there. I can do long form on my podcasts. And YouTube is going to be a strategy that I'm using in 2025. So they're all long form content platforms. And so that's where I am going to be hanging out, over there. I want to be where my content is appreciated and where I get to fully express what it is that I have to say in the way that I want to say it. And of course, my emails as well are long form. So I'm going to stop trying to fit myself and force myself into platforms that don't actually work for me the way that I want them to work for me. I'm not leaving Instagram, but I've got a sense that I am going to spend a lot more time on my profile on Facebook. And yeah, so that's that. So come on over there. Another thing that I'm taking into 2025 is, I've found the right marketing strategy for me for growing my business, for using paid traffic, for getting my reach, or for increasing my reach. And like most of us, right? Like most of you, the only thing that's inhibits our growth is the amount of eyes that we have on our businesses. And so we need to increase our reach all of the time. Inside of my mastermind, we've got three metrics that we focus on, and reach is the first one, because if you increase your reach, the more people that get exposed to your business, even if you do nothing else, more people is going to produce a bigger result. So that is one of the metrics that we focus on, reach. And I have found the marketing strategies that I feel really good about going forward in 2025 that support my long form content creation. The next thing that I'm taking into 2025 is this simplification, and it's my full circle simplification, I think. I've always wanted to have a membership, a lower cost membership, and I always have a mastermind running. These two things have always been the things that I've wanted to run with. My masterminds and mentorships have always done very, very well. My memberships always take longer than I expect, and I always just give up on them. It's like, oh, forget it. I'll just go back to high ticket. And I don't want to do that. So I am really committed to my mastermind and my membership in 2025. And they will be the two products that I have. There will be nothing else. I'm going to have those two products, and that's going to be it. So um, that simplification makes it so easy for me to show up and talk about the things that I want to talk about. And if I look at FEMPIRE Builders, the membership, and I have a look at S.H.E Mastermind, my mastermind product, they're not just about ads. They're not just about offers. They're not just about marketing. They have quite a broad scope, right? I have a framework where the framework is really simple and clear. We get you in your sweet spot. We figure out how you're going to position yourself in your market, and then we develop offers that solve problems in that market. And then we figure out our bespoke marketing and sales system. Sorry, I'm not sure if you can hear that, but an alarm has gone off. And that framework is there, but there's so much depth to each of those elements, and there's so much scope, because I'm always coaching the person, the human behind the brand. And so we're going to be having bigger, deeper, juicier conversations. We're going to be talking about things like, um, what's that thing that everybody struggles with? Oh, what is it called? You know what? It's at the tip of your tongue, imposter syndrome. We're going to be talking about taking risks. We're going to be talking about, you know, being focused and disciplined and all of those things, right? Those, the simplification is in my marketing, the simplification is in my products, and I get to go really big with the small things that I'm going forward with. I get to dial all of those up instead of trying to do a bunch of different things. I love to test and measure, but I did a lot of testing and measuring over the last couple of years, and now I have arrived at my conclusions, and that's what I'm going to be going forward with without complicating anything. So that's it. And even simplification when it comes to platforms. This year I'm closing down one of my websites, that my member site that I've had for decades, or well over a decade, and I've moved my membership to school, which is so simple. Is it the fanciest looking platform you've ever seen? Is it as sexy as my beautiful membership site? No, it's not, but it's simple and it works, and it's exactly what needs to happen for me to be able to keep creating the content and keep it super organized within that community. So simplification is definitely a theme that I'm taking with me in 2025. The next thing is authority. I guess I haven't felt like I've leaned into my authority because I haven't felt very grounded in it, because there's been too much testing and measuring, too much jumping around. And, we've got to explore a lot of things, right? Because we have to we have to explore the things till we figure out what it is that we want to be going forward with. And I did speak a lot about ads in 2024, meta ads, and there is definitely a place for them and I can teach them. And there is training on ads in my FEMPIRE Builders community. All of that is there. There's no doubt about that. And I also know there are other ways that we want to market. And because I felt like I'd locked myself into just talking about micro offers and meta ads and things like that, I ran out of things to say. And I didn't feel like an authority on it because it's not my life's work to be good at meta ads. And so it was just driving me crazy. And now that I've gone back to this kind of full circle moment where I just get to talk about all the things that I love, and there is definitely a theme. My content is only for entrepreneurs, right? Online entrepreneurs in the coaching type space. Like that's where I sit. So I get to talk about what I want to talk about, knowing that who I'm talking to just makes it by default work. So I'm going to really lean into my authority in 2025. And it's something that I've done really well in the past, but I feel like I lost my footing a little bit and I'm ready to reclaim that. And finally, the 10th thing that I'm taking into 2025 is that my way works. And what I mean by that is we're all distracted by strategies that look bright and shiny, and we buy a $27 product on the internet and we're like, oh my God, this is amazing. Look at all the results that this person's getting using this thing. So let me go and do that. And, we always learn something, but there were some people that I was watching who were selling a lot of digital courses, and they were um, sharing their like sales screen grabs for the day, and it was all about being by the pool and living this freedom lifestyle, and everything's digital and everything's automated, and it's like that just doesn't. I thought it appealed to me. And I tried to do that for a little while, thinking, oh, maybe this could be a thing. But my heart and soul is in high ticket. And my heart and soul is in being there and rolling up my sleeves and getting into it with my clients because I love to be of service. And so a fully automated digital brand is not something that I actually want. It's not something that I want. I want to be serving my humans. And so that means inside of FEMPIRE Builders, I get to serve my community in there. I get to show up. I get to help them, support them, kick their butts, do all the things. And in my mastermind, I do that as well. There's a whole other level of that. And so I get to do my business my way. And again, it's full circle. It's not lost on me that my first high ticket mastermind type product launched in I think 2012, but my first high ticket mastermind in this space, the original one was in the martial arts business coaching space, but for the female entrepreneur market, it's 10 years. It's been 10 years. And yes, I've had a lot of masterminds running since then, but I'm coming back full circle. I'm writing a book that feels very much like the vibe of the the Art of Kicking Ass Elegantly book that I wrote about 10 years ago. I'm feeling like I went on this massive, 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 massive journey, and now I'm kind of back to where I started, but with so much more growth, with so much more experience. And I'm not going to tell you. I went through a phase where it's like, but that won't work anymore because everybody's doing it like this. Like I'm like everybody else, right? It's not lost on me that my clients are killing it, that they are going and using the same strategies that I'm talking about, that I use and have used, and I send them out into the world with those armed with those strategies, and they work for those clients. I just get in my own head like everybody else. And so not doing that anymore. I know my ways work the way that I want them to. And one of the things that I say to my clients all of the time is figure out how you want to do it, because we can make anything work so long as it's fully aligned and it's what you want. And I believe that. It's so true. I just haven't been doing that myself, which is so frustrating, but it's okay because I'm doing it in 2025. And I feel like, the last year or so has not been wasted. Like 2023 was my highest financial year ever. And I think the reason that I had the highest year followed by like a year that isn't as good as last year is because I had to reevaluate. At the end of last year, it's like, do you want more of what you just did? And the reality was that I didn't. I didn't want more of what I'd just done because it didn't feel fully aligned. And so this year has been really a back to the drawing board, stripping everything back, and then seeing what um, is left and what feels beautiful and amazing. And so as I sit here on the eve of going into 2025, I feel locked and loaded. I feel clear. I feel passionate, purposeful. And I know that my brand is going to have an enormous impact in 2025. I can already feel that 2025 is going to be such an incredibly special year, and I am here for it. So that's it. All right. So, what were my 10? Passion and purpose has to be present. If it's not present, it means that I'm lacking clarity around something. So, I've got to figure out what I'm lacking clarity around, get that clarity, and then things click. Taking into 2025 the impact that the healing has had on my business and how I work, be where I want to be on socials. Long form is my jam, so I'm going to lean into long form. The full circle stuff around my products, my membership, and my my mastermind. There are the two products I'm going forward with. I'm taking the marketing that I've been testing and I've landed on this is the way I'm going to market my business. So I figured that out this year and now I get to dial it up in 2025. The ultimate sophistication is simplification. So keep it keep it sophisticatedly simple. That's the plan. Lean into my authority. And when we talk about authority, that even means going back to okay, so if I'm being the authority that I know I am on the subjects that I talk about, does that mean that I try to squeeze it into a 1 minute reel because reels are supposed to be the thing? No, if I'm the authority, I get to do it my way, right? So leaning into that authority. The other number 9 is taking visibility up a notch into 2025, but hanging out where I want to hang out and really lean into my way, the way that I want to do it, knowing that we can make anything work if it's aligned and you really want it and you believe in it. So that's it. Let me know, come over to my Insta or let me know in the wherever you can leave a comment what you are taking with you into 2025. Let me know. I'm interested. So on my Instagram, my DMs are always going to be open, and I'm sure I'm still going to be sharing a lot of stories over there. And I'm always keen to hear from you. So make sure that you come on over and yeah, let me know what are the things that you are taking from 2024 into 2025. What are the valuable lessons that you just know are going to be a game changer for you in 2025. And of course, if you are looking for some support in 2025 and you think I am the mentor for you, then be sure to check out S.H.E Mastermind. If you go to michellehex.com, it is the homepage. The early bird is running for just another week. So you want to make sure that you grab the early bird before it goes. And of course, FEMPIRE Builders is my membership program where I would love you to come and check out the free trial, give it a go, see if it's for you or not. And if it is, I would love to have you as part of that community going forward and serving you in 2025. That is it. If you celebrate it, have an incredible Christmas and New Year, and I will see you next week.